Well, just 72 hours after pitting their wits against the English champions, Plymouth Argyle have one of their biggest tests of the season. A crucial night in terms of the survival race in the Championship. The Greens are in Hull, aside 2 places and 3 points above them. It is the side with the worst home record against the side with the worst away form in the league. 2 sides desperate to save themselves from the drop. The stakes couldn't be higher. If there is a winner today, life would be looking a lot brighter. For the loser though, that faint flicker of hope would almost be blown out. A massive night in store then, and all of the action is coming your way on Argyle TV. Hello, good evening. I am Charlie Price. This is the pre-match show, and once again, feels like we're doing this quite a lot, tonight has huge implications. The nerves almost certainly will be kicking in. They certainly are here in the studio. Now, neither Hull nor Argyle would have been wanting to find themselves in this position at this stage of the season, well and truly in a relegation race, a fight, if you will, for survival. And they know that if they were to get some sort of result today, certainly for Hull, the home side, they would begin to claw themselves away from safety. Argyle know a win, and they have a real chance of doing the same. Now, match passes, both audio and video, are available to purchase from our website right now. Head to pafc.co.uk for all of the details. Joining me for the night, and also with a little bit of nerves in the air, is a former Argyle defender, Mark Edworthy. And Mark, I'm pretty sure most associated with Argyle would swap the FA Cup run for survival in the Championship.
Yeah, we talked about it before, Charlie, didn't we? That fantastic result against Liverpool. Great run, obviously, against Man City, maybe a bridge too far. And obviously a fantastic away win against Brentford. I'd love to see that tonight, Charlie. Interesting, as you said, they got the worst home record. We got the worst away record. It's going to be a classic, isn't it? It's going to be lots of goals, lots of entertainment. And the time to get your first away win, we've said it on so many occasions. I think it's the business end of the season now. 12 games to go, 36 points to play for. You have to go and then win, in my opinion, or at least go there and get a point, add another point on the board, gives you confidence, hopefully keeps that momentum going. But you've got to get something there tonight.
Yeah, okay. So you said, you kind of alluded to it a bit there. What is the task today? Is it a must-win for Argyle?
I think you've got to leave there with something.
Okay.
A point away from home, because then you can back it up with your home form. And we know we've got Sheffield Wednesday coming to Home Park, which again is a massive game. They're all big games, Charlie. There's no games we look down at the fixture list and think, oh, there's a guaranteed 3 points. Nothing's guaranteed. But I think if you're going to keep your Championship status, you've got to set your stall out. I know we've been trying to do that, but tonight you've got to make sure you come away from there with something.
We've spoken about it a lot, and we even alluded to it in the intro there. This away form is remarkable, isn't it? And if we end up not winning a game away from home this season, you deserve to get relegated, surely, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that that's a fair comment. You've got to pick someone on the road. We talk about the FA Cup run has been amazing. Nearly 8,000 fans going there on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they travel
left, right, they travel all around the country. We know geographically that's tough as well. So credit to them, fantastic support. They are like the 12th man, and they're going to be valuably needed. But on the road, we haven't really given that, sort of authority, empathy, whatever you want to call it, happiness of getting 3 points. We've got to get something. Yeah,
500 supporters have made the journey up today, just a few days after the 8,000 that were inside the Etihad. Those Argyle players stayed up in the north of the country over the last few days. They were training at Manchester City. They were training at Huddersfield yesterday. So they have had as best a preparation as they could have had heading into the game. Miro Muslic has made a couple of changes, just freshened things up a touch from that game against Manchester City. There are changes in midfield with Jordan Houghton coming back into the side, Boateng dropping to the bench. Puhac has come in on the left-hand side, and there is a spot in attack for Rami El Hadj. Joe Edwards on the bench. He was on the bench against Manchester City. Will he get a run out today? There's also a spot in reserve for Michael Obafemi, who hasn't been around of late. Still, no Ryan Hardy or Adam Randall, having picked up injuries in the last couple of games. I mean, Joe Edwards being on the bench will be a plus, won't he, for the squad at the very least, Mark? Just having someone of his sort of calibre and quality and mentality around the place on away games now.
Yeah, I think just before Joe got his injury, he was probably in the best form of his career. He was really probably first on the team sheet. Outstanding form he was in. Unfortunately, he had the injury, and we've missed him for sure. But he's been in and around it. Obviously, he took charge with Kevin Anskivel, interim manager, and I think that helped. But just having him around the dressing room, seeing him back on the bench now, his willingness, his desire to win games is a big plus.
You feel he'd fit into the Miro Muslic style as well, wouldn't you? That sort of gung-ho, give it all style attitude.
Yeah, just looking at the formation, on the screen there, it looks compact. It looks hard to beat. That's fine, providing you don't concede. But it's the other end. Can we maybe counter-attack this evening? Can we go on and win the game and create something? We'll take a 1-0. Anything we'll take victory-wise. But the way he sets up, it's very compact, very hard to beat. I think the last game we did together was at Millwall. We had a great start, and that really then led to the 3 points because that fast start, confidence flowed, the goals come, and I really expect us to then go on and do well at Blackburn, and then unfortunately the 2-0 defeat at Blackburn. So it's very much one step forward, two back. So very hard to beat. I think it is good. We've got that sound foundation now, but can we be a bit more creative and go on and win the game?
Is one of those players that could potentially do that, Barley Mumba? We saw him come on against Cardiff a couple of weeks ago and he changed the game. He got the player sent off, had a couple of chances, had that sort of energy up the field that certainly in Ryan Hardy's absence in particular you kind of miss.
Yeah, I think so. I think Bally, for me, is much better further up the field. I mean, think defensively wise, he's got quick, he's got great ability, but he can create things in that final third. We've seen him score some terrific goals as well, and I think there's a different concentration factor and that ability to defend at times. It's a difficult position to play in, but forward-thinking player which he is, and he does create things. I really like him in the final third. I think under Schumacher when he was playing alongside Whittaker at times, they were so creative. They really create things, and he scored some wonderful goals. But when you are back in that defensive row as a fullback, you've got different organisation skills back there, and the concentration is key because if you make a mistake there, unfortunately, it potentially leads to a goal.
Yeah, and we've actually seen that from Barley, unfortunately, this season a few times because he does have such great ability to wriggle out of difficult situations, but you're not always going to be able to do it. And I suppose you'd rather it be, in an attacking position, like if you get through, you're in on goal, as opposed to on the edge of your own penalty area.
Yeah, it's true. Your defensive duties are, all of a sudden now you're stopping the winner from delivering a cross. You're getting close. You've got to get out there and be organised and make sure you're protecting your centre halves and your other full-backs. So, and then when you're further thinking, you've got that more of a free row, a bit more maybe, he's so much better in that final third because he's so creative. And if you lose it in the final third, okay, then you've got time to recover and get back organised. Where if you're the sort of last man as a defender or as a full-back, then it's a completely different scenario.
Yeah. Well, Hull City, mentioned their poor home form. They've picked up just 2 wins at the MKM Stadium all season. They've struggled against sides at the bottom as well. And Ruben Sellers has gone with this side this evening. It boasts quite a few changes from their defeat to Cardiff 7 days ago. A lot of them are in that sort of midfield cluster area. Abu Kamara, Stephen Alzate and Puerta all come into the side in those positions. There's also a spot for João Pedro up front. Matt Crooks, who has been one of their danger men of late, he joins a very long injury list with the likes of Louis Barry, who was signed in January, already on that. So Liam Miller as well, another one who in attacking positions is out for the season. So that is what they've gone with today. We put it as a 4-4-2, Mark, but it kind of is a 4-2-2-2. So those 2 wide players are sort of more forward. It's interesting how they have struggled so badly at home.
Yeah, incredible. Just look at the players there. Some quality players in there. Very creative. The possession stats are very good. They do like to keep a lot of possession, but for some reason they haven't, taken that onto the field and and gone on to win the home games, but then they come up with some crazy results. So we talked about beating Sunderland, unbelievable result. No one's seen that coming, and they go and lose at home to Cardiff. So was it at home or away to Cardiff?
It was away
to Cardiff. But yeah, so
even
the teams they're playing against, again, they're almost like, repeating myself, one step forward, two back, because you think they're going to get them some momentum. But the Sunderland game, to me, when I seen the result coming out, I couldn't believe they got a result there. But that's what they are capable of doing. So it's going to be an interesting game tonight. Both teams know it's vital to get the points, and I think Hull, especially if they do go on and win the game, they bridge that gap a little bit more. The 3 goes to 6, and I suppose if we look at it goal difference wise, maybe even 7 points. So it's a huge game for me tonight. It really is.
Yeah, Matt Crooks is someone who of late has kind of been a bit of a goal threat. They've struggled for goals. Only Luton have scored fewer goals than Hull this season. Kind of exemplifies the problems that they've been having. But he is out today, which might be a bit of a blow. He came in January, Mark, from the MLS. He's very, very experienced at this level. Big, tall, powerful, good technician. Not involved today. Do you see him potentially being a big miss?
Yeah, I think so. Just looking at those highlights, the Sheffield United game, I was watching that game, and again, it was just like, unbelievable result.
3-0.
Sheffield United flying high, didn't see that coming at all. 3-0 away from home, incredible result. So they are capable of doing that. I think he'll be a big miss as well, as we just said. He has got that presence, doesn't he? He gets forward, scores goals as well. Settled in extremely well. So I think for Hull tonight, he's going to be a big miss.
Yeah, they have though brought in their top scorer, João Pedro. So they do have potential replacements on the bench. Now, as for Argyle, Miron Mislic has been in the job for just over a month, and he's had some pretty unforgettable moments in the dugout so far. Saturday was one of those at the Etihad, but he and the players were very much keen to stress that the focus was well and truly on tonight.
How do you go about approaching it? So sort of keep the players calm, that kind of thing. What's your approach to tomorrow night?
Very similar also to the last couple of weeks, because don't get me wrong, it felt like everyone is a big one and everyone is a 6 point, and almost every game you have to win. But I think we found a good balance to organize the team, to give them clear instructions how to execute the game plan, but never to exaggerate in terms of we have to. I think we're on a very, very good way. We are very competitive, and that's always, a good start so we can collect points.
What's your what you're expecting from Hull City tomorrow night?
Yeah, to be very dominant in possession, to have a lot of rotations, players dropping, overloading all over the pitch. It's also a big one for them, no doubt. I know they are struggling also at home. Their recent away record is very strong, especially against top teams. But we see also some possibilities for us, and I think if we can perform on a very similar level like we performed also the last couple of weeks, we are very competitive, and we can achieve something over there. And the plan is to perform again and to grab 3 points.
You spoke before the City game about having one eye on this whole game, and that kind of played a part in your selection. And obviously you took players off kind of around the 60-minute mark on Saturday. How's the squad looking? Are we in a good way going into tomorrow night?
I said actually I'm going to keep both eyes on Hull City, not only one. And to be fair, we worked also backwards from Hull. That's why we had some changes in the starting 11, and that's why we did also these prepared subs in minute 60 to take off Musu Bali and Darko. I think they played exceptional, like the rest of the starting 11. But we prioritize Hull City, and I think we tried our best possible as staff to manage this, to find the right balance, to be competitive and compete against Manchester City, but then just to be fully ready 3 nights later.
Quite like that phrase. I had 2 eyes on Hull City even before the Man City game, and that's how it should be, isn't it? That was like a little bonus, Man City. Obviously, you don't want to embarrass yourselves, but this is the important game this evening.
Yeah, you asked a question at the start of the show, Charlie. What would you take, a really good cup run or your championship status? I think there'd be 100%. I would call it. Would say you have to keep the status for this football club to win in championship is fantastic. It deserved to be here. Now you've got to keep that status. It's tough at the moment. There's still time, as we said, 12 games to go, 36 points to play for. You've got to start winning on the road or get something on the road, and hopefully back up with your home form. But yeah, the cup run was great. Liverpool with some great moments, as we said, the Man City, the Brentford game. But I think if he could turn that round and add that to away wins or more points, then you snap your hands off.
I do want to just mention a little stat here on away games since Miran Muslic has come in. There's been 3 in the league, lost to Blackburn but got draws Sunderland and Luton. And then obviously the Man City game, lost 3-1 but gave it a go. And Brentford was before he came in. But in those games, they have shown that they've been able to come back on 2 occasions. They scored 2 away at Sunderland, which is, I think, doubled their tally of away goals at the time, remarkably. And the way he plays seems like it suits an away performance as well. Like that, soak up pressure and then try and get it down the other end.
Yeah, I agree. I think under Wayne Rooney, we had some great days here, doesn't he? And great nights at home park. Some great football was played. But away from home, you have to somehow change. And you don't have to be so creative away from home. You've got to become hard to beat. And I think that's what Mudžić has definitely done. We've gone organised with 2 big centre-halves have come in and definitely made a difference. Katic, as we know, and has been outstanding, led by example. And you've got to become hard to beat. And if you go and get a scrappy 1-0 away from home, any player will take it. I think we were too open away from home. We were conceding too many goals. And when you can concede too many goals from home, confidence then starts to, start dwindle and you doubt yourselves. But it went on for far too long. It had to be sorted out. And since he's come in, we've picked up points. And I think that potentially, that organisation has certainly worked away from home.
Well, Argyle struggles on the road are matched by Hull's struggles at home. As previously mentioned, they've got the worst home record in the division. In fact, only the 2 bottom sides in the Football League, Morecambe and Carlisle, have picked up fewer points than Hull on home soil this season. The boss, Ruben Sellers, knows that is a problem, but hopes that tonight can be a turning point for the better.
My approaches have not changed, basically. I play every game, try to beat the opponent, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So that takes out any speculation or anything that the game is more important. Of course, it's a team that is in and around our position, and we would like to beat them, but it's just because we prepare the game in the same way as we would prepare any other game. We need to be focused in the things that we can do to just beat the opposition. And as I told to the boss, we need to create our own pressure. The pressure is not coming by needing to win. We need to win every game. That is the pressure in this football club or in any other football club if you want to be competitive in football. So we just need to be sure that we do what we want to do in the game, and then we know what we need to do just to win the game.
What have you made of Plymouth then? Obviously they've got the worst away record in the league. They've not won away from home in the Championship yet, but obviously the FA Cup has kind of given them a bit of respite. They won at Brentford, they beat Liverpool, of course. They were competitive at Manchester City on Saturday. What have you made of them, particularly since Muslic, the new manager, has come in?
Well, I know Muslic from his time in Cercle Bruges, has been only a couple of years there, but he managed to put the team in the top 6 in the Belgian league with a very, very precise and concrete style of play, and then play Europe this year. It was not the best year for them probably now. And then now that he's here, you can see that the team is organized in a different way as they were with Wayne Rooney. Organized, very clear in the idea that they have, very generous in terms of the team effort. When they sit in the low block, in the deep block, as they did, for example, against Manchester City, difficult to break down. When they have the transitions with Bundu, a player that I coached some years ago, good in the space, trying to get the opportunities. And then when they get those set plays in and around the box, as they did it against City, for example, they try to score from those moments. I think their identity is very clear. I think they are a competitive team in the level. And as much as they have not been able to win away from home, I know they've been able to win football matches at home.
We've mentioned it already, but it's kind of crazy to think if you take Hull last season, they missed out on the playoffs, losing to us, very last day of the season, didn't they? And this time around, they find themselves just 3 points above the drop zone with 12 games to go. That is a remarkable drop off in 12 months, isn't it?
It certainly is. I thought Lee Messina was doing a magnificent job there. And I think you clearly stated, the chairman said, if you get into the playoffs or get into the top half of the table, which he did, and I think we performed superbly well. We had to get something from the game to keep our status on that day. I hope it doesn't go to the last game of the season again. We're just hoping it doesn't. If it does, then if we get the same outcome, I think we'll take it. But for our nerves and the fans' feelings, let's hope it doesn't get to that. But yeah, it's an amazing turnaround, as you said, Charlie. Very flamboyant manager, doesn't want to change, he wants to be creative, wants to improve their home record. Clearly respects Argyle going there tonight, knows that they can perform and get a result. So it's it's going to be a really interesting game. But I'm shocked they are down there, considering how well they did last season.
We were speaking about the fact that if Argyle don't win away all season, you sort of deserve to deserve to go down potentially. For Hull, if any team, if you only win 2 games at home, you're going to find yourself down there. That's your bedrock. It's so much more difficult going away, isn't it?
Yeah, it rightly so. And I think Derby County have got a similar sort of fate, haven't they? The 3 teams down there have clearly struggled. Argyle away from home, Hull at home, and Derby have been very similar. They've been bad away from home and also bad at home at times. So there's a real mixed bag with all 3 teams, but they've got to find that ingredient to get themselves out of it. And the thing is, time is against us now. Time's running out. We talked about 36 points. Do you say it's more points than we got now?
It is more points than we've got now.
I didn't really want to say that, but that's
we'd take 36
stats
from now.
Yeah, of course you would. So there is enough points, there is enough games, but we've got to start somewhere, and hopefully it is tonight, because you'll find that games will run out.
Yeah, hopefully it is tonight. Right, we are pretty much done for the pre-match show. They fly by these days. If you haven't already, go and get your match passes right now. You can watch or listen to the game from around the world. pafc.co.uk is the place to go. This is it. Worst home record against the worst away record. Who will blink first? Well, we'll find out in the company of former Argyle midfielder Lee Makel and Rob McNichol, who are at the MKN Stadium, because Hull against Argyle is next.